Hello, I'm Dana DiRicco, and welcome to Sonoma County Today. Today we're going to talk about food and wine of Sonoma County. What a great way to begin the year. The food and wine here in Sonoma County is really great. So let's join Darek Trowbridge, who is a winemaker at Old World Winery and owner, and Helena Gustafson-Giese, who is of Helena's Kitchen, and she is a private chef. So welcome to the show.
Thanks, Dana. Good to be here.
You brought some beautiful bottles of wine and food. I don't know how you knew, Helena, that tuna is one of my favorites.
Oh, I had no idea, but I'm very happy to hear.
Yes,
so.
I love tuna. So, anyway, Darek, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and the wine that you produce here in Sonoma County?
Sure. So, you know, I was pretty much born into the wine industry. My grandfather is Lino Martinelli, the Martinelli Winery.
Martinelli is an old name in this county.
For sure. And so he was the guy that I grew up wanting to be like, and that's why I called my label Old World Winery. And so I went to school, got a master's degree to make wine. I didn't like the wines that I was making. For whatever reason, they were a little too simple, I'm not sure. And so I went back to the beginning using only yeast from the vineyard the way my grandfather did.
Yeast from the vineyard?
Yeah, only from on the berries of the grapes.
Oh, wow.
To me,
is that different?
Yeah, most people add, today, people have large tanks of wine. And
so did you watch Lino make the wine and he was using the yeast? Is that?
Oh, yeah, you just don't add anything. You let the yeast from the vineyard on the berries themselves produce. And, it's...
If you're a large production winery, can you do that?
Yeah, there are some that do. Some think that they can't scale it, but I know 8,000-gallon tanks that have been native yeast fermented. So native yeast is another term for it. I like the term yeast from the vineyard myself.
Yes.
So it does scale up, but my scale is a ton at a time. So we're trying to make little artisan, unique
ways.
Yeah, just true. What's the term? True.
You kind of work with the individual product that you have.
Yeah, we want the vineyard to speak for itself.
How interesting.
Yeah, be unique. So.
Yes. Yeah. I guess you can do that if you're small. You're a small winery.
Yeah.
What's your case production?
2,500 cases.
Yeah, that's a small winery.
Yeah, we're real small, real small.
But it's a darling winery.
But yeah, it's fun. It's the site that we have was originally built in 1916. And William Salem Winery was actually there making wines in the 80s, and they made my grandfather's Jackass Hill there, incidentally. And so when it came up, we thought, okay, well, let's try to make this place a go. So we bought it 3 years ago.
Does somebody make Jackass Hill still?
Oh, yeah, Martinelli. My
Martinelli.
uncle, Lee Martinelli, and my family.
Lee. Yes, I know your Uncle Lee.
Oh, yeah.
Martinelli.
Oh, yeah.
He's been around a long time also.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Making wines and such, so great.
And then I brought 2 wines, the Cabernet that we make and a Chardonnay as well, both from vineyard descendants. Now,
how did you make the Cabernet and how did you make the Chardonnay that makes it different from all the others?
We just use 1 block in a vineyard, and this Cabernet we actually blended with some Syrah that was grown right next to it, and so we picked them together and fermented them together, and from there we barrel age them for 2 years. And with the reds, we actually do treading. So every ton of red grapes, we take the berries off of the stems, and the berries go into a 1-ton bin, and then from there we get in and we tread them, just the way by foot,
barefoot.
Oh yeah.
Every ton you do that?
Every ton of red.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, you do that.
It's a gentle way to break the grapes, and that's why we continue to do it. And
does that make a difference, you think, to gently break the grapes rather than?
Yeah, it does. To gently break them makes less leaching of bitter tannins.
So do you think that's your niche? Because recently we've had Sonoma State on with their Wine Institute, and they were talking about how they train the students to go with the flow of the industry, be flexible and unique, and find a niche to try to teach people how you have to do that to get recognition or to stand out alone. Is that what you think your niche is?
It's part of it. I mean, really, Old World Winery is about making wine the way it was made 100 years ago, so we don't use the additives that we have today.
The sulfites.
Well, we use sulfites, but small amounts, but there's 70 other
70?
approved additives for wine.
You're kidding.
No, and the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art has a great exhibit that shows virtually all of the additives.
Additives to wine?
Yeah.
It's on right now.
Yeah, that's going right now. It goes until April, I think.
Oh my, that's interesting. Now, what about certified organic? If you
certified organic, well, the only one that I know for sure is certified Demeter. A winery that's certified Demeter, which is biodynamic, that can't add anything. That you have to use the yeast from the vineyard. You have to
certified Demeter.
That's right.
I've heard that word before.
Demeter is the worldwide certification for biodynamic, and
oh, I see.
And
that's
there's
why
quite a few certified wineries in Sonoma County,
Demeter?
Or in California.
In California, how many are there?
Maybe 12 actually in California.
That's not very many,
that's
really,
not
in the
quite a few.
big picture. But
in the old days, there was even 10 years ago, there was 2.
Now there's a dozen.
Yeah.
Is it? I guess that's hard to get there, huh?
Yeah, that's the hardest certification to get for sure.
Is it?
Oh yeah.
And that's because you can't add anything.
You can't add anything, and that's not the way. Certainly the way I was trained to make wine when I did my master's degree.
No.
I was trained to use all the tools that they have today, and I didn't like mostly where the tools took me. I mean, it's nice to have those tools if you have to use them. And there are situations where
you have to.
Yeah, where that can come up, and you get to make a choice. But we always stick with our plan, which is to make it, the way it was done 100 years ago, essentially.
Do you have a website?
Yeah, oldworldwinery.com.
Oldworldwinery.com. And a phone number, 490-6696?
Yeah, area code 707, you bet.
Yeah, 490-6696, so that's good to know. So that, I guess, is your unique... your uniqueness is the 100 years ago hand or foot stomping.
Yeah, foot stomp.
Foot stomping all the grapes.
That part of it's fun. It involves the community. A lot of our wine club members want to get there, and they get a T-shirt and we jump in and we stomp, and everybody has a lot of fun. It's kind of a party, and so that's a good event.
Isn't that
and we do
funny?
it every vineyard that we harvest gets one of those.
You're bringing back such an early memory. My grandpa, Alberto DiRicco, in the barn, he would come. I was just a little girl before I started school.
Wow.
And he would have his grapes. He'd pick some, and I can remember him washing my feet and making me get in, because he couldn't get in and stomp, and make me get in and stomp the grapes. Isn't that hilarious? I was probably 4, 5 years old, and I remember being in the middle room of that dark barn, and I was there, and I'm going, why am I doing this?
And you probably remember all the smells and everything that was going on.
Oh yes, and yes. And I had another memory with my other grandfather. They had a ranch out Dry Creek right next to Fry, which is now Gallo.
Oh yeah.
And I would go with him up to the winery to deliver the grapes, and I was 5, 6. And he had a sled that the tractor pulled, and all the grapes were in boxes. And then I remember, today it would never happen. I can remember, just a little girl. There was this little narrow bridge, and he walked over the barrels and looked down at these barrels.
Yeah.
And I remember him saying, now don't fall off. He says, you'll fall in there and they'll just crush you up and make me wine out of you. And I was so afraid, but he made me go. And it was like, seems so dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
Today that would never happen.
No, but there's still plenty of dangerous things that go on daily.
Yeah, isn't that a hoot?
Oh yeah, I
yeah,
love it.
And I'll tell you what else he said off screen. So Helena, tell us a little bit about you. We kind of got a background on Darek. We're almost down to the break. Okay.
Oh, no worries. I came here to the Bay Area in 2001.
From Sweden?
From London at the time,
London
actually.
at the time.
But I'm originally born in Sweden and lived there before, of course. And I came for vacation, fell in love with my husband.
Oh, good for you.
And got stuck in such a terrible place as California.
How exciting.
And I love it here.
You love California and Sonoma County.
Yes.
And this is where you made your home.
Yes.
Then, yes. We need to take a break already, and then we're going to get back to you, Helena, and then talk about the food and the pairing.
Sounds good.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this brief message.